Well, you might be a guest at a wedding and think, oh, this won't last. But is it actually possible to accurately predict who is going to divorce? The experts say they can with 93% accuracy. So what are the signs to look out for and how can we avoid the end result? Well, we have psychotherapist and counsellor Melissa Ferrari on the desk to tell us how. Nice to see you again. Tell you what, 93% is very specific.
It is. Dr. John Gottman, who is a researcher and mathematician, he studied 3,000 couples and he's able to predict most of the time, or 93% of the time, whether a couple will still be together in three to 5 years.
OK, brilliant. Let's look at some of the warning signs of neglect that you should be looking out for in a relationship. Criticism, that gets personal.
Oh, you would say that.
No, that's not really personal, is it?
Is it? I don't know.
It's sort of... Was that like making...
Yeah, no, you would say that is an attack of your personality. So, yes.
That sounds like something your mother would say.
Oh.
Yeah, see, that one can be a little bit below the...
Not that I've ever said that or heard that, but I just thought that would...
Being defensive and blaming your partner.
No, I'm not.
Being defensive, blaming, trying to kind of fob off, avoid, it wasn't me.
Contempt, rolling your eyes or putting your partner down.
Yeah. Contempt can be a very scary one because it's really got to a point where you're starting to actually look down at your partner or treat them like you're kind of better than them. When you're getting into an area of contempt, it can be very problematic.
Oh, dear. And stonewalling, so not being responsive at all. So is that the kind of the passive-aggressive, everything's fine, fine?
That's right.
And
often it's a response if someone's felt like they've been criticised a lot, they will start to stonewall because they actually don't know how to negotiate it. And that's the problem with these things that happen to people, is because they just don't know how to negotiate it differently, and relationships are difficult.
See, here's my thing. A lot of people think that a happy or a long-term relationship doesn't involve conflict. I've had people say to me, you and Laura, because we've been together for 20 years, you must have argued. I go, no, of course we argue. We're two adults in the same house. We have differing opinions on things. We argue. So there's a difference between disagreeing and being disrespectful.
Exactly. And we are prone to argue. We're prone to protect ourselves. We're wired to actually go to the negative in the brain, which doesn't make it easy when you are in love. And so conflict is inevitable in any relationship.
So, but how can you argue safely then? Because, you know, if you want to have a go, and I'm guilty of actually just stifling my feelings and then exploding at the worst moment.
Yeah.
That old thing, that old chestnut, because we hold it in, we take it, and then we go,
That's right.
What's the best way to do it?
Well, I think actually approaching your partner with a soft kind of start-up that says, hey, this is really bothering me, we need to talk about it, this is serious, I'm really concerned about you and I, this discussion is because I've got both our backs and I want us to last, and doing it in a way that feels safe and secure. As soon as we go on to the attack or start attacking our partner, their brain, the amygdala, goes, I'm in trouble now, and so then a fight will start.
There's a great quote by Marlene Dietrich, and she's talking about a husband, but it works for both genders, and it says, if you've forgiven your partner's sins for dinner, do not reheat them for breakfast.
That's the worst, isn't it? People who constantly throw old stuff back in your face.
Yeah, that's right.
Can I say that like those four things, those four warning signs, you know, deadly four horsemen of the apocalypse, I've done all of those, and my wife's done all of those.
But at the same time?
93% of
that's
numbers
right.
say you're
like,
gone.
Well, the reason we can't get divorced is because we got married in the Catholic Church. But are they necessarily fatal? Like, I mean, doesn't everyone do that from time to time?
Everybody does that. What we're talking about here is if it's happening over and over and over. If your relationship's got into a groove where those four are showing up all the time, if you're getting to a point where you're actually starting to feel trapped in your relationship, well, that's when you've got problems. But the great thing about all of this is, you know, I'm not here to say doom and gloom and that everybody's heading for a divorce. You can really turn this stuff around really quick.
How can you?
OK, so it's things like, as I said, the soft start-up. When you are wanting to talk to your partner, going face-to-face, quite often, and I've talked about this before, people will have an argument and be in different rooms, on text, in the car, and then that way your partner can't actually read what's going on for you. So going face-to-face is important.
In fact, we've got a great little graphic to show everyone at home. Keep your criticism in check, as well as a good reminder when it comes to good communication. Make sure you're being sensitive to your partner. If you ignore your partner after an outburst, get help. What does that mean?
Well, if you're getting to a point where you've really had a very bad outburst and one of you are feeling really bad, you know, if it's, or one of you's experiencing anxiety about it or even some depression, it usually means it's time to get some help. Seek out a good therapist. And sometimes these things don't take extensive amounts of therapy. It might just be a couple of sessions just to say, here, guys, this is how you need
What
to
if
do
it's
it.
the idea of therapy that gives you the anxiety and depression?
But what happens if you ask someone repeatedly, nicely, like you suggest, can we talk about this? And they're just, you know, a lot of blokes, not to, you know,
Generalise?
generalise like that. And I'm sure some women can just not be open to talking at all.
That's the thing. I actually don't want to talk about it. Like, it's the actual talking about it that makes me really frustrated and angry, and I would much rather just calm down, forget about it, and then just make like nothing happened and then explode at an inappropriate moment.
Oh.
There's a really great book called Wired for Love by Dr. Stan Tacken that explains a lot of the things that you just asked, Joe, because many couples find that Wired for Love find that very problematic, and it's usually about attachment styles and how we've been shaped psychologically.
Do you know what, though? We are surrounded by love here at Studio 10. We've got some fantastic couples who make the trek in to see us in our studio audience.
We do.
Seriously, they kiss in the ad breaks.
Yes.
They really do.
Really
Check.
great.
Look at these two.
For seconds.
Hey!
Oh, Dale.
Alan and Dale, they're a couple of our favourites.
They actually know what the other one had for breakfast.
My prediction is those two will last.
On another everything.
Exactly.
Melissa Ferrari, it's always fab talking with you. Thanks for dropping in.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Now, Craigie is opening the Showbiz file again.